Good afternoon. My name is Brian O'Hara, B-R-I-A-N, O''H-A-R-A. I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. I'm joined by our Mayor, Jacob Frey, and Rabbi Marcia Zimmerman of Temple Israel, M-A-R-C-I-A-Z-I-M-M-E-R-M-A-N. Last month, the Minneapolis Police Department reached out to the Rabbi, to the Jewish Community Relations Council, to a Jewish student organization from the University of Minnesota, and other stakeholders from the Jewish community to have a meeting to discuss our concerns for public safety as the Jewish holy days approach, as well as the anniversary of the October 7th terrorist attack on Israel. As a result of this meeting, the Minneapolis Police Department instituted enhanced patrols around Jewish synagogues and other community centers during this time period out of an abundance of caution. We are aware and have been working with our law enforcement partners at federal, state, and local levels from around the country, and there have been other specific threats against Jewish institutions around the country. So we placed these enhanced patrols out of abundance of caution just so that our Jewish neighbors could feel safe in their houses of worship and in community centers around this time. Because of that, we had a police officer working a special detail at Temple Israel on October 3rd, where that officer was alerted by security by someone who was threatening the temple who may have been armed with a firearm. Through investigation, our officers were able to make an arrest yesterday, and that person has been booked for terroristic threats against the temple. The investigation revealed that it's the same person who had been calling the temple using an app to spoof phone calls threatening to shoot up the temple. Searches have been conducted since, and we do not have evidence to suggest that this incident was anti-Semitic in nature or motivated by hate or bias. However, it is especially concerning the time that this occurred. And we want people to know that the police department has been seeing an enhanced level of threats towards our Jewish community over the last year. Obviously, since the October 7th terrorist attacks, the worst terrorist attack on our Jewish community since the Holocaust, our police officers have been present where a whole lot of hateful rhetoric has been said against our residents, against members of our community, simply because they're Jewish. That includes students at the University of Minnesota. There's been times where our police officers have been present at events where members of the Jewish community have been spit on. They have had the most hateful and extreme things said towards them. That being said, I am aware that we will continue to have First Amendment activities related to a war that is going on overseas. And the Minneapolis Police Department is committed to protecting the rights of everyone to exercise their First Amendment activities. However, we absolutely will not tolerate threats of violence against members of our Jewish community. We will not tolerate acts of destruction against property of this city. And we want everyone to know that we will ensure that all houses of worship for people of all faiths will be places where they can be safe. So that being said, I do want the public to know I am concerned with all the hateful rhetoric that is online. This is something that the Jewish community has been dealing with at a heightened level over the last year, and enough is enough. I am concerned that there could be a lone actor out there that could see something online and be inspired to commit an act of violence in our community. And we all need to stand together and stand against that, particularly as our neighbors, Jewish neighbors, are trying to celebrate these holy days, and so many of them have been touched by the terrorism and the war overseas and are in mourning of that. So that being said, we will continue to work with our partnerships at federal, state, and local levels. We'll continue to be in communication with stakeholders in the Jewish community, and we will do everything that we can to ensure that our Jewish neighbors can celebrate the holy days, can go and worship in houses of worship, and that everyone in this city can be safe regardless of their religion, their heritage, or otherwise. That being said, I will pass it off to our mayor for comments.
want to start with a very deep thank you to Chief Brian O'Hara and the Minneapolis police officers that acted swiftly to ensure the safety of our broader community, and specifically that community at Temple Israel. I am one of the congregants at Temple Israel. I was there at Rosh Hashanah with my wife. And when you go to worship as a Jew, when you go to worship as any background, ethnicity, or religion, you want to do so with peace. You want to have the state of mind that you're able to reflect. For a Jew, during the high holy days, Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, the whole concept is to reflect of yourself over the last year, to determine how you can be your best version of self, where you can apologize to those that you've hurt, and to where you can be better yourself and better in your community to make the world a better place. And doing that gets a whole lot harder if you're worried about your safety and the safety of your loved ones. For Jews around the world, and sadly also in Minneapolis, we've been seeing the repercussions of a war that is taking place across the world. We've seen hateful anti-Semitic acts increase dramatically. And those acts have been a particular heightened state around High Holy Days. And so the concern is real for Jews in the Twin Cities, just as the concern is real for Jews across the globe. The kinds of things that we've heard and seen that have taken place online have an impact. You might think that it's just words that you're posting up on social media, but hundreds and thousands of people see those words. Hundreds and thousands of people then feel motivated to do something that they might not otherwise do. And so we all have an obligation here, not just to act with peace, but to encourage peace from our neighbors. Regardless of what happens around the world, we here in Minneapolis are a people that love our neighbors regardless of their religion, their ethnicity, or their background. We are a people in Minneapolis that stand up for peace. We want to make sure that regardless of who you are, you feel comfortable worshiping and you feel comfortable walking down the street, wearing your Star of David, wearing a cross, wearing whatever particular affiliation it is. And I'll tell you, if this were a mosque that were threatened, I would be there right now. In fact, I have been. If this were a church that was threatened, we would be standing up for them. It's a temple, in this case, a synagogue that was threatened, and we all should be saying the exact same thing. People are people, and people deserve to be loved and feel safe. And it is on all of us, and I appreciate our Minneapolis Police Department for making sure that that's the case here in our city. I will pass it over to my rabbi, Marcia Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chief. It means a great deal to our community that you are here. This is Shabbat, and it is a time of observance. Synagogue, we had synagogue services this morning with a bar mitzvah student feeling so proud of becoming an adult within the Jewish community, within the Jewish religion. And it is, of course, a time where we usually wouldn't be at a press conference, but because of the importance of accurate information, I am here representing my community, Temple Israel, and the Jewish community. Temple Israel is grateful to the Minneapolis Police Department, our own security team, and security and law enforcement partnerships, and the JCRC as well. Every religious community should be able to worship without fear, especially on the holiest days of their year. I am involved in interfaith dialogue, and interfaith dialogue is crucial to who we are at Temple Israel and to our community. A threat to any religious community is a threat to all of us. We have confidence in this situation that law enforcement will investigate the matter and take appropriate action. Sadly, this is one of many examples for Temple Israel and many Jewish organizations over this recent period of time where there have been threats. Our community continues to remain committed to a vibrant Jewish life in our historic address in Minneapolis. And we look forward to gathering again on Yom Kippur. This is in real time, and so there will be a message to our congregation going out as we speak to inform them of this situation and to assure them that we truly feel proud to be Jewish, proud to be a Jewish community in Minneapolis, and proud to have a heritage that is strong and vibrant and beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. As the Rabbi and the mayor have said, we should all take this, any type of threat against any religion, against anyone because of their ethnicity, their race, or otherwise, as a threat against all of us. And I am asking our residents, particularly at this time, as we know our neighbors are going through the holy days, that season, as they're also mourning the loss of life with the anniversary of the worst terrorist attack since the Holocaust. I'm asking everyone, if you see something, say something. Please report any suspicious activity around any Jewish synagogue or community center in our city so that we will act. And to our Jewish neighbors and residents that are out there, we will be vigilant. There will continue to be enhanced patrols. Some of that you will see, and some of that you will not see. And we will be prepared to call in additional resources for any contingency throughout this week. So that being said, the message again is whether you say shalom, whether you say salam, whether you simply say peace. That's what we want for all our communities in this city. And we'll open it up for any questions that you have.
Chief, can you speak to the level of threats right now here? Can you talk about possible active threats that y'all are investigating at the moment? Can you kind of put in perspective what we're dealing with at the moment?
So we have had threats that are similar to other hoaxes happening around the country, and we are monitoring specific threats and actions, law enforcement actions that have been taken in New York City, in Canada, in other cities around the country. That being said, there are no specific threats against any particular site or person in Minneapolis, but again, the most dangerous part of the situation that we're in is just the reality that there is all of this hateful rhetoric, especially online. And the reality is our residents have been experiencing this harassment. And quite frankly, there is a fine line between what is protected First Amendment speech when someone is criticizing the United States government or a foreign government versus, in this particular situation, it's a fine line between what's hateful and calling for violence against individuals because of their religion. So that's what we're most concerned about is, a lone actor or someone who may be motivated by something that they see online, particularly as the situation continues to unfold overseas.
As far as patrols go, I'm assuming it's going to be more visibility out in front of Jewish sites here in the city?
It is both more visibility, particularly around times where congregations are gathering and there are other activities at community centers, but it is also plainclothes operations that are happening.
Can you speak about what you're doing online to monitor threats and to find those and interact?
We have analysts that are monitoring online, as well as folks both at the county, the state, and federal level. And we're in communication with law enforcement partners at all levels.
Rabbi, you represent the Temple Israel congregation here. As the news kind of started getting around here, kind of what was the reaction here of your community? What's on their heart today here as they're processing all of this here?
Thank you for asking, really appreciate that. I think that accurate information is crucial at this moment, and it is something that has moved me to stand here today with the mayor and the chief so that my community can have that information, and that really there is a sense of a strong Jewish connection and pride to be the antidote to harassment in any way. That is the most important antidote that we have.
Are you putting extra staffing on at Temple here to just, for folks to talk if they need to?
We are offering in this letter that is going to the congregation, I am signing it, the congregational president also is signing it, and we are offering support and that they can turn to any of us. And the beauty of being part of my congregation is they don't hesitate to reach out, which I'm very proud of.
Rabbi, your message to your congregants and the Jewish community that are fearful to be in community during these holy days.
Exactly, it is to come together as a community, to be strong, to feel pride. Those are the things that harassment and really hate can't touch. And so we are there to be with each other. Thank you.
The news release said that the security team saw a fireman, or a man with a firearm outside the temple. Did any congregants notice him? Could you share more about what that evening looked like?
I can tell you that's what the victim in this case, the security guard, believed that they saw. We have not found video evidence or other evidence to substantiate that. We have conducted a search in this case. We did not recover a firearm. However, that remains something that's open.
Is this an individual that MPD's had prior contact with?
I don't know that, but we can get that for you. I'm not certain about that.
And did he have concerning online activity, since you are bringing up kind of this?
There's been nothing that's been found to suggest that this is related to anything anti-Semitic.
Mr. Mayor, obviously, Minneapolis has had an ugly history when it comes to anti-Semitism here. Is this something that you thought we'd be still dealing with in 2024?
There's two pieces. One, I will reiterate what the chief just said because we have to distinguish between the two. There was a very concerning threat made against Temple Israel. We do not presently have evidence that that threat was based in anti-Semitism. And over this last year, we have seen a massive increase in the amount of anti-Semitic statements, anti-Semitic behavior online, and yes, people carrying out anti-Semitic violence. That's not just in Minneapolis, I'm talking about around the globe. I have also seen, sadly and tragically, people who I would have called friends say things that very specifically target a specific ethnicity, and that ethnicity is Jews. It's not progressive, nor inclusive to target any group of people for hate. It's ignorant. And every one of us, regardless of your ideology or background, should be calling that out as problematic, as hateful, and as not having a place in our city. Again, that is the case whether we are talking about a Muslim community, a Christian community, or a Jewish community. It doesn't matter. In Minneapolis, we are inclusive and we welcome people, and yes, we have had an ugly history with regard to anti-Semitism. We've had an ugly history when it comes to racism. But it's a history that presently the vast majority of people in this city want to push back on. The vast majority of the people in this city see Minneapolis as a place for peace, hope, and inclusivity. And what every one of us need to be making sure that we're doing is that we have the courage to stand up when those ideals are not met.
I had a question for the rabbi. Has the temple always had a security team, or is that something that y'all established in the last year as a result of kind of growing threats?
We have had a security team for a very long time, both seen and unseen security throughout Temple, and that has been a commitment. Our community has supported it, and we are forever grateful. So it has been much longer than just this year.
Yeah.
Chief,
And,
sorry.
oh, yeah, and I know it's not connected. This isn't necessarily an anti-Semitic moment, but as y'all are entering the anniversary of this 1 year attack, how are people feeling right now?
I think people have realized that things haven't stopped, and so things continue to move. So I think people are unsettled and concerned, but again, the same thing that I would say about the threat that was made at Temple, that the community is gathering together, supporting each other, feeling pride in our community to go forward. So, thank you. Did you?
Just for the
Great.
chief, sorry.
Okay.
Chief, any plans for stepped up patrols on Monday or anything like that for the anniversary? What is the department planning?
Yep. I just want to add that, to add to what the rabbi just said, I just want to point out that it's particularly sad that that's the case. That Temple Israel and other Jewish places of worship, Jewish community centers, have to have such robust security procedures in place because there has just been so much hate. That being said, the plans went into effect before the first Jewish holy day, and they continue. We have all members of the department will be on standby as far as having uniforms readily available, and additional personnel will be on patrol just in the event that there is any type of disturbance or activity. But right now there is no specific threat, but we want to be prepared because we know there will be First Amendment demonstrations against the war happening at the same time that there's people mourning the loss of life, as well as the Jewish holy days. So this is something that we are at a heightened level of awareness throughout the week until the Jewish holy days have concluded, but it's something that's not going to go away after this week.
It's a bit different, but seeing how young the arrested person was, and just seeing that a lot of these shootings that have been happening downtown Minneapolis are also by relatively young people. I guess, do you have any thoughts on that? Are you noticing a trend in young people and gun violence?
Yes, but I would say that trend is separate from this incident. The most disturbing trend that I have witnessed here is the age of young people that are victimized, both victims of gun violence and involved in gun violence, has trended younger and younger dramatically over the last year. We have young people as young as 10, 11, and 12 years old involved in carrying guns and being victimized by gun violence. And it's really just sickening. I don't know how else to describe it. That's what we are seeing, that the average age is trending so much younger. It's terrible. And I would love to get my hands on and prosecute someone, an adult, that's providing firearms to some of these young people. But we're doing everything that we can, and I'm thankful to all of our partners who are trying to help raise the alarm to this issue, because we have a group of young people that are kind of falling into a gap, that they're too young to be prosecuted, and they're not being held. They're kind of being released back into the community, and the system doesn't have anywhere near adequate support for them. And that's the alarm we're trying to raise. And I'm hopeful that all elements of government are going to try and come together and solve that problem.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.